Hi everyone. Today I wanted to talk about players I'm kind of interested in looking out for at EVO. Not exactly who I think will win, more so I'm interested in them from a more detailed, so to speak, kind of perspective, rather than just like, oh, I want them to win, right? Number one, who I want to talk about who's competing at EVO is Darkrai. Darkrai, I don't think has really competed outside of online, but they are a gamer, as you can see. Did really well even pre-patch, but now that Goldless has been buffed, I think they're gonna do really well. And in fact, you can see they are actually a gamer. Both these players showing up here, Red Ditto and Darkrai, are both gonna be at EVO. Also, big shoutouts to to Red Ditto. But Darkrai, I think, will really stand out just because, one, there's not many Gold Lewis players that stand out in the same way or have as much time invested in the character. In fact, I feel like regardless of what you think about strength, Darkrai is probably one of the most established in terms of, you know, Gold Lewis matchup strategy, just because of how much time, I mean, you saw how many games he's played. So definitely looking forward to watching Darkrai. Really good player. I think first time offline, like I said, so, you know, that's always interesting, especially in EVO. Moving on, we have Jiro, who is this Anji player. Also similarly to Darkrai, I'm interested especially for how a lot of players are going to play the matchup. It's not an understatement to say most regions do not have a very developed Anji player. Most tend to be kind of like, you know, kind of lazy, or they don't have as much experience in the same way that, you know, Jiro is a gamer. He's played a ton. I don't have his stats on hand, but he is a very good player. Probably like the best Anji player in the world. Don't quote me on that. But I think it'd be really interesting to see how a lot of both European and North American players deal with how he plays. Not just in the lens of like, you know, oh, he's like a very strong, unique Anji player, but also from the lens of like, there's not many people with very established, strong matchup strategy for Anji. And, you know, he's been playing Anji since release. So again, similarly to Darkrai, who's been playing Goldless for a while, they have a lot of experience. That's number two, Jiro. Number three is Latif. Basically, Latif, I think, doesn't really need much of an introduction. I think it's not really a wild thing to say that Latif is probably the strongest player in EMEA, which is a very big region, so that's very impressive. Definitely one of the best, if not the best, Zato. This is the first time I think Latif has actually been competing in a very long time. Latif actually has history in like 2010, like before my time. Very strong player, very talented. And it'll be really interesting seeing a lot of the North American players or Japanese players also compete against him. Because again, I think, you know, very highly of him, very strong player. Most people expect him to be like a clear contender to win the tournament total, like above most other players. I'm very interested to see how his Zato does and how he performs in, you know, a grand stage like EVO. So last one, and this one's a little biased for. It is Peppery Splash. So Peppery Splash has been a long-time Guilty Gear competitor. He's played Strive. I'd say like he's played, but not like super seriously until more recently, where he's been more interested in competing, like I guess, for EVO and Combo Breaker. Most people know him from his performance at Combo Breaker. He plays Zato as well. So I'm really interested to see how he approaches it. He actually played Zato in Exerd before he swapped to Venom. In fact, he played Zato and Johnny. So it's cool to see him back on Zato, but also it'll be interesting to see how he does in terms of competition. One thing that Peppery does very well that is kind of unusual is that his pace and how he tends to play neutral is very slow, and it's a little unusual for, I think, a lot of people to deal with, especially against Zato, because it's kind of an uncommon playstyle, but very common for how he used to play Zato in Exerd or how he used to play Venom. His approach is very like technical, very like fundamentals based, which is very fun to watch, but also I think he'll do really well. Even though he had a great performance at Combo Breaker, he's a bit unknown in that way, so I think that'll be really interesting as well. All in all, those four players are the ones I'm most interested in. All of them are very strong players, but I think it'll create a lot of really interesting matchups in the same way that like Pepri plays very unusual for a Zato player, or even like a lot of Guilty Gear players, honestly. Darkrai with great, Gold Lewis experience and like a ton of games, and I would say like Darkrai is definitely one of the stronger players, or strongest, I should say, in North America. And so seeing him play offline for the first time, question mark, I'm not 100% sure if this is his first time, but I've not seen him before. Same with Jiro. I'm interested to see how those two kind of use their matchup advantage, in the sense that, not many people have experience against a very strong Gold Lewis or a very strong RNG. So it's very interesting to see how that will develop. And of course with Latif also very, very strong, and again, serious contenders to win the tournament. I'm interested to see how a lot of these regions interact with each other, how well they do. And overall, I think it'll be a really great event, and I hope, these are players you can look out for and be interested in. Thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it kind of gave you some idea to look for, or who to look for, and just let you know, oh, these are the players I'm really interested in, to see on stream, to see how the brackets develop with them, who they end up playing against, So thanks a ton for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye bye.